This wasn't just a bus, it was a rolling joke, a parody on wheels, and one of the strangest vehicles ever built for film. The Cyclops Bus from the Big Bus looked ridiculous on purpose. But behind that absurd design lies some seriously wild engineering. Number 20. The Cyclops Bus was one of the largest custom vehicles ever built for a comedy film. The Cyclops Bus from the Big Bus wasn't just oversized for laughs. It was genuinely massive, even by real-world standards, and its scale played a crucial role in the film's parody of disaster movies. At a time when most comedy productions relied on simple props or miniatures, this film took the opposite approach. The production team committed to building a full-scale vehicle that could actually move, creating something that looked absurd but functioned in reality. The bus stretched far longer than a conventional coach, featuring multiple passenger sections connected in a continuous structure. This exaggerated length was intentional, designed to mimic and mock the grand scale of serious disaster films from the 1970s. But building something this large introduced real engineering challenges. The chassis had to be reinforced to support the extended body, and the weight distribution had to be carefully managed to prevent structural issues. Turning such a long vehicle was also a problem, requiring design adjustments to ensure it could navigate roads without becoming uncontrollable. Despite its comedic purpose, the Cyclops Bus demanded serious technical effort to make it work. Its size wasn't just a visual gag, it was a fully realized concept brought to life through practical construction. For audiences, it appears ridiculous. Behind the scenes, it was one of the most ambitious custom vehicle builds ever attempted for a comedy film. Number 19. The bus was designed as a parody of nuclear-powered transportation concepts. One of the core jokes behind the Cyclops Bus is its supposed nuclear-powered engine, a direct parody of real-world concepts that were being explored during the mid-20th century. In the 1950s and 60s, engineers and scientists seriously considered nuclear-powered vehicles, including cars, trains, and even airplanes. These ideas were often presented as futuristic solutions to energy challenges, but they also carried obvious risks and impracticalities. The Big Bus takes this concept and pushes it into absurdity. The Cyclops Bus is presented as a nuclear-powered machine capable of traveling across the country without stopping. This exaggeration is part of the film's satire, poking fun at the overly optimistic technological predictions of the time. The design of the bus reflects this concept, with its massive size and futuristic elements suggesting a vehicle built around an advanced power source. While the film treats this idea humorously, it's rooted in real historical concepts. This connection adds an extra layer to the joke, making it both ridiculous and strangely grounded. For viewers, the nuclear aspect is just part of the comedy. But for those familiar with the history of experimental transportation ideas, it becomes a clever commentary on how far those concepts were taken. At number 18, the Cyclops Bus interior was built as a full multi-room set. Unlike most movie vehicles, which only feature small interior sections, the Cyclops Bus had an interior that functioned more like a building than a vehicle. The production team constructed a full multi-room set to represent the inside of the bus, complete with different areas for passengers, crew, and various comedic situations. This allowed the filmmakers to shoot extended scenes inside the vehicle without constantly cutting to exterior shots. The interior featured multiple levels and sections, giving the impression that the bus was much larger inside than a typical vehicle. This design choice supported the film's comedic tone, allowing for exaggerated scenarios and interactions between characters. From a technical standpoint, building such an interior required careful planning. The set had to be modular, with removable walls and adjustable sections to accommodate cameras and lighting. This flexibility made it possible to capture a wide range of shots while maintaining continuity. For viewers, the interior feels expansive and detailed, reinforcing the bus's absurd scale. Behind the scenes, it was a carefully constructed set designed to maximize both functionality and comedic potential. Number 17. The bus's articulation system was crucial for making it drivable. Given its extreme length, the Cyclops Bus couldn't function as a rigid structure. To make it drivable, The designers incorporated an articulation system that allowed different sections of the bus to pivot relative to each other. This is similar in concept to articulated buses used in real-world public transportation, but on a much larger scale. The articulation points enabled the bus to navigate turns without placing excessive stress on the chassis. Without this feature, the vehicle would have been nearly impossible to maneuver. Designing this system required careful engineering to ensure that the sections moved smoothly and remained aligned during operation. The articulation also contributed to the bus's unique movement style, giving it a slightly segmented appearance as it traveled. This added to the visual humor while serving a practical purpose. For the production team, the articulation system was essential to making the bus usable in real-world filming conditions. For audiences, it's part of what makes the Cyclops Bus feel both ridiculous and believable at the same time. Number 16. The Cyclops Bus required specialized drivers due to its unusual handling. Driving the Cyclops Bus was nothing like operating a standard vehicle. Its size, articulation, and weight made it a challenge even for experienced drivers. The production team had to rely on specialized drivers who could handle its unique characteristics. Steering requires anticipation and careful control, especially when navigating turns or uneven terrain. The articulation system added complexity, as different sections of the bus responded slightly differently to movement. Drivers had to account for this when planning their actions to ensure the entire vehicle remained stable. Acceleration and braking also required a different approach due to the bus's mass. Sudden movements could create instability or place stress on the structure. As a result, driving the Cyclops Bus involved smooth, deliberate inputs rather than quick reactions. This level of control was essential for both safety and precision in filming. Scenes had to be executed consistently, with the bus moving in predictable ways to match camera setups. For viewers, the bus appears to glide effortlessly despite its size. Behind the scenes, that smooth movement was the result of skilled drivers managing one of the most unusual vehicles ever built for a film. Number 15. The Cyclops Bus exterior was deliberately exaggerated to parody luxury transport trends. The Cyclops Bus wasn't just oversized. Its entire exterior design was intentionally exaggerated to mock the idea of luxury transportation reaching absurd levels. During the 1970s, long-distance buses and travel experiences were beginning to market comfort and amenities as major selling points. The big bus took that concept and pushed it into pure satire. The Cyclops Bus looks like what would happen if designers kept adding features without any restraint. Its length, height, and proportions go far beyond practicality, creating a vehicle that feels almost unreal, even though it physically exists. The windows are spaced in a way that suggests an endless interior, reinforcing the idea that the bus contains far more than a normal vehicle could. The overall shape is clean and streamlined, mirroring the era's futuristic design trends, but stretched to the point of being comical. Even small details contribute to the joke. The smooth exterior panels and minimal visible mechanical elements give it a polished, almost utopian look, in contrast to the chaotic events unfolding inside the film. This contrast is intentional. It highlights the gap between the promise of perfect transportation and the reality of human error and unpredictability. From a production standpoint, achieving this look required careful fabrication. The panels had to be aligned perfectly across a very long structure, maintaining visual consistency across multiple sections. This ensured that the bus looked like a single, unified machine, rather than a series of connected parts. For audiences, the design reads instantly as a parody. But underneath the humor is a very deliberate commentary on how transportation design can become excessive when driven by marketing rather than practicality. Number 14. The Cyclops Bus required custom-built tires to support its unusual weight distribution. One of the less obvious but critical aspects of the Cyclops Bus was its tires. Standard bus tires were not designed to handle the kind of weight distribution created by such an unusually long and segmented vehicle. The production team had to use specially selected or modified tires capable of supporting both the bus's mass and its structural layout. Because the vehicle's weight was spread across multiple sections, each axle experienced different loads depending on movement and terrain. This meant the tires had to be durable enough to handle shifting pressure without failing. The articulation system added another layer of complexity. As the bus turned, different wheels would experience varying degrees of stress, especially those near the joints between sections. The tires needed to maintain traction while also accommodating these dynamic forces. Failure of even one tire could disrupt filming and potentially damage the vehicle. To prevent this, the production team monitored tire condition closely, checking for wear and ensuring proper inflation before each shoot. This attention to detail allowed the bus to operate reliably despite its unconventional design. From the audience's perspective, the tires are just part of the vehicle. But behind the scenes, they were a crucial component of the entire machine. Without the right tires set up, the Cyclops bus would not have been able to move safely or consistently during filming. Number 13. The Cyclops bus influenced later comedic vehicle designs in film. While the big bus may not be as widely remembered as other films, the Cyclops bus left a lasting impression on how oversized or exaggerated vehicles are used in comedy. Its design demonstrated that vehicles themselves could be central to the humor, not just the situations surrounding them. This idea influenced later films that featured unusual or over-the-top vehicles as part of their comedic identity. The concept of taking a familiar form, like a bus, and pushing it to absurd extremes became a recognizable technique. Filmmakers realized that audiences respond to visual humor that is grounded in reality, but exaggerated beyond practicality. The Cyclops bus achieved this balance by being both believable and ridiculous. Its influence can be seen in later productions that used oversized or modified vehicles to create comedic impact. These designs often share the same principles: exaggerated scale, unexpected features, and a blend of functionality and absurdity. The Cyclops bus helped establish this approach as a viable storytelling tool. It showed that a vehicle could become a character in its own right, contributing to a film's tone and identity. For viewers, this makes the Cyclops bus more than just a prop. It becomes part of a larger tradition of creative vehicle design in comedy. Number 12. The Cyclops bus's windows were designed to enhance the illusion of the endless space. One subtle yet effective design choice in the Cyclops bus is the arrangement of its windows. They are evenly spaced along the length of the vehicle, creating the impression that the interior extends far beyond what is physically possible. This visual trick reinforces the idea that the bus is larger on the inside than it appears on the outside. The windows act as a repeating pattern, guiding the viewer's eye along the length of the bus and emphasizing its scale. This design choice also supports the film's comedic tone. It suggests that the bus contains an almost absurd amount of space, aligning with the exaggerated concept of a luxury vehicle taken to extremes. From a production standpoint, maintaining this illusion required careful alignment of the windows across all sections of the bus. Any inconsistency would break the visual continuity and reduce the effect. The windows also played a role in lighting. They allowed natural light to enter the interior set, helping create a consistent look between exterior and interior scenes. For audiences, the windows contribute to the overall impression of the bus as a massive, self-contained environment. It's a small detail, but one that adds significantly to the vehicle's visual impact. Number 11. The Cyclops bus's movement required constant coordination between the driver and the crew. Operating the Cyclops bus during filming wasn't just the responsibility of the driver. It required coordination among multiple crew members to ensure smooth, safe movement. Due to its size and complexity, the driver relied on guidance from crew members positioned around the vehicle. These spotters provided information about the surroundings, obstacles, and positioning. It's helping the driver navigate areas with limited visibility. Communication was essential, often involving hand signals or radio instructions. This coordination allowed the bus to move accurately within the constraints of each scene. Timing was also important. The bus had to hit specific marks to align with the camera angles and the actors' positions. Any deviation could require multiple retakes, increasing production time. The crew's involvement ensured that the bus operated as intended, maintaining consistency across shots. This collaborative approach highlights the complexity of working with such a large and unconventional vehicle. For viewers, the bus appears to move effortlessly through each scene. Behind the scenes, that movement was the result of teamwork and precise coordination. Number 10, the Cyclops bus used concealed support structures to maintain body alignment across its length. At first glance, the Cyclops bus looks like one continuous, perfectly aligned structure, stretching impossibly far across the road. But maintaining that visual continuity wasn't simple. The production team had to engineer concealed support systems within the body to keep everything aligned while the vehicle moved. Because the bus was segmented and articulated, each section could shift slightly relative to the others, especially over uneven terrain. Without internal reinforcement, this could create visible misalignment, breaking the illusion of a single unified machine. To prevent this, hidden structural supports were built into the framework, acting as a spine to keep the sections visually consistent. These supports absorb some of the stress generated during movement, helping maintain stability while allowing necessary flexibility. The design had to strike a balance. Too rigid and the vehicle would struggle to turn, too flexible, and it would look unstable on camera. The solution was a carefully engineered internal system that allowed controlled movement without sacrificing visual integrity. This attention to structural detail is part of what makes the Cyclops bus so convincing. Even though it's exaggerated, it doesn't look like it's falling apart. It looks solid, intentional, and engineered. For viewers, the bus appears seamless. Behind the scenes, that seamless appearance depended on hidden structures doing much of the heavy lifting. Number 9. The Cyclops bus's paint scheme was chosen to enhance visibility on camera rather than realism. The color and finish of the Cyclops bus weren't just aesthetic choices. They were carefully selected to perform well under filming conditions. The production team needed a paint scheme that would stand out against various backgrounds while maintaining consistent visibility across different lighting scenarios. The chosen colors reflect light in a way that highlights the bus's shape and contours, making its size more apparent on screen. This was especially important for wide shots, where the vehicle needed to remain visually distinct against landscapes or urban environments. The finish also had to avoid excessive glare, which could interfere with camera exposure and reduce detail. A balanced approach ensured that the bus looked bright enough to be noticeable without becoming reflective to the point of distraction. This attention to visual performance is a common consideration in filmmaking, but it becomes even more critical with a vehicle of this scale. The paint helps define the bus's identity, making it instantly recognizable while supporting the technical needs of filming. For audiences, the color feels natural within the film's world. Behind the scenes, it was a carefully engineered choice designed to optimize how the vehicle appeared on camera. Number 8. The Cyclops bus required controlled driving routes to avoid tight urban spaces. Because of its extreme length and articulation, the Cyclops bus could not navigate all types of environments. Tight urban streets, sharp corners, and narrow passages posed significant challenges. To accommodate this, the production team carefully selected and controlled filming routes. Locations were chosen based on their ability to handle the bus's size and turning requirements. Wide roads and open areas were preferred, allowing the vehicle to move without risking damage or loss of control. In some cases, scenes were staged in locations that appeared complex but were actually more manageable. This gave the illusion of the bus operating in challenging conditions while keeping the filming process safe and practical. The need for controlled routes also influenced how scenes were written and shot. Movements were planned in advance, with the bus following predetermined paths that aligned with camera setups. This ensured smooth operation and consistent results. For viewers, the bus seems capable of going anywhere. In reality, its movement was carefully guided by logistical planning and location selection. Number 7. The Cyclops bus's doors were designed to be larger than normal to match its exaggerated scale. Even the smallest details of the Cyclops bus were scaled up to match its oversized design, including the doors. Standard bus doors would have looked out of place on such a massive vehicle, so the production team designed larger entry points that fit the overall proportions. These doors were not just visually exaggerated, they had to function properly, opening and closing reliably during filming. The increased size required reinforced hinges and mechanisms to support the additional weight. This ensured that the doors could operate smoothly, without sagging or misalignment. The larger doors also contributed to the illusion of a spacious interior, reinforcing the idea that the bus contained far more than a typical vehicle. From a visual standpoint, they helped maintain consistency across the design, ensuring that every element matched the exaggerated scale. For the audience, the doors feel like a natural part of the bus, but behind the scenes, they were carefully engineered components that balanced aesthetics and functionality. Number 6. The Cyclops Bus's on-screen presence relied heavily on sound design to feel massive. While the Cyclops Bus is visually impressive, its sense of scale is also reinforced by sound. The production team used sound design to enhance the perception of the vehicle's size and weight. The engine noise, movement, and mechanical sounds were all carefully crafted to create a powerful auditory presence. Instead of relying solely on real recorded audio, sound designers layered multiple elements to achieve the desired effect. This included recordings of large engines, heavy machinery, and other industrial sounds. These layers were combined to produce a deeper, more resonant tone that matched the bus's scale. The result is a sound that feels larger than life, making the vehicle seem even more imposing. This approach is common in filmmaking, but it becomes especially important when dealing with exaggerated designs. The sound helps bridge the gap between what the audience sees and what they expect to hear from something that large. It adds weight to every movement, reinforcing the bus's presence in each scene. For viewers, the Cyclops Bus doesn't just look big, it sounds big. And that combination is what makes it so memorable. Number 5. The Cyclops Bus required synchronized braking across multiple axles to prevent structural strain. Stopping the Cyclops Bus was not as simple as pressing the brake pedal and bringing the vehicle to a halt. Because of its extreme length and multiple axles, braking had to be carefully distributed across the entire vehicle. If one section slowed down faster than another, it could create uneven forces that would travel through the articulated joints. This could lead to stress on the structure, misalignment between sections, or even mechanical damage. To avoid this, the braking system was designed to operate synchronously across all axles. The goal was to ensure that each section of the bus decelerated at the same rate, maintaining alignment and stability. This required precise calibration and coordination. The driver had to apply the brakes gradually, allowing the system to distribute the force evenly. Sudden braking could disrupt this balance, making it harder to control the vehicle. This characteristic influenced how the bus was used in filming. Scenes involving stops were carefully planned, with sufficient distance for the vehicle to slow down smoothly. Camera angles and editing were then used to create the impression of more dramatic stopping action without compromising safety. The synchronized braking system also contributed to the bus's overall feel. It didn't stop abruptly. It eased into a halt, reinforcing its size and weight. This subtle detail added to the vehicle's realism, making it feel grounded despite its exaggerated design. And for the crew, mastering this system was essential to operating the bus safely. For the audience, it was an invisible detail that helped make the Cyclops Bus believable. Number 4. The Cyclops Bus used hidden access panels for maintenance and filming adjustments. Maintaining a vehicle as complex as the Cyclops Bus required more than just routine checks. The production team built hidden access panels into the structure, allowing crew members to reach critical components without disrupting the vehicle's appearance. These panels were carefully integrated into the design, blending seamlessly with the exterior so they wouldn't be visible on camera. Behind these panels were key mechanical systems, wiring, and structural elements that needed regular inspection. This design enabled quick maintenance between takes, reducing downtime during filming. It also allowed for adjustments to be made on the fly. If a component needed repair or modification, crew members could access it without dismantling large sections of the bus. This was especially important given the vehicle's size and complexity. The access panels also served a secondary purpose during filming. They provided entry points for crew members to position equipment or adjust interior elements. This flexibility helped the production adapt to different shooting requirements. For viewers, the Cyclops Bus appears as a seamless, continuous structure. Behind the scenes, it was a highly modular machine with hidden features designed to keep it operational and adaptable throughout the filming process. Number 3. The Cyclops Bus's suspension system was custom-tuned to handle uneven weight distribution. The Cyclops Bus didn't carry its weight evenly like a standard vehicle. Its length, segmented structure, and varying interior loads meant that different sections experienced different levels of stress at different times. To manage this, the suspension system had to be custom-tuned to accommodate uneven weight distribution. Each axle was designed to respond independently, adjusting to the load it carries. This allowed the bus to maintain stability, even when certain sections were under more stress than others. The suspension system worked in conjunction with the articulation points, ensuring that movement remained smooth and controlled. Without this level of tuning, the bus would have struggled to maintain balance, especially on uneven terrain. The suspension also contributed to the vehicle's distinctive movement. It absorbed shocks and vibrations, allowing the bus to glide more smoothly than its size would suggest. This made filming easier by reducing excessive shaking that could affect camera shots. At the same time, it preserved enough movement to convey the vehicle's weight and presence. For the production team, achieving this balance required careful testing and adjustment. For the audience, it created a vehicle that felt both massive and surprisingly stable. Number 2. The Cyclops Bus required coordinated lighting setups to maintain visual consistency across its length. Lighting a vehicle as large as the Cyclops Bus presented a unique challenge. Standard lighting setups were insufficient to evenly illuminate its entire length. The production team had to use coordinated lighting strategies to ensure that the bus appeared consistent in every shot. This involved placing multiple light sources along the vehicle, each carefully positioned to avoid creating uneven shadows or highlights. The goal was to maintain a uniform appearance, making the bus look like a single cohesive structure. This was particularly important for wide shots, where inconsistencies in lighting could break the illusion of scale. The lighting also had to adapt to different environments, from bright outdoor scenes to controlled studio setups. This required flexibility and constant adjustment. The reflective properties of the bus's surface added another layer of complexity. Light had to be managed to avoid glare while still highlighting the vehicle's shape. This level of coordination ensured that the Cyclops Bus remained visually consistent across different scenes. For viewers, the bus looks natural in every environment. Behind the scenes, achieving that consistency required careful planning and execution. Number 1. The Cyclops Bus became a symbol of ambitious practical effects, ambition in 70s cinema. Despite being part of a comedy, the Cyclops Bus represents a level of ambition that defines practical effects filmmaking in the 1970s. At a time when digital effects did not exist, creating something this large and functional required creativity, engineering, and dedication. The production team chose to build a real vehicle rather than rely on miniatures or simple props. This decision added authenticity to the film, even as it embraced absurdity. The Cyclops Bus stands as an example of what can be achieved when filmmakers commit to bringing their ideas into the physical world. It reflects a period in cinema where practical solutions were pushed to their limits. This approach gave films a tangible quality that continues to resonate with audiences. The bus is remembered not just for its comedic value, but for the effort that went into its creation. It serves as a reminder that even the most ridiculous concepts can be executed with serious craftsmanship. For fans of filmmaking, the Cyclops Bus is more than a prop. It's a testament to the ingenuity and determination of a production team willing to build something truly unique. The Cyclops Bus may have been built for comedy, but there was nothing lightweight about the effort behind it. Every detail, from its massive structure to its hidden engineering solutions, reflects a level of creativity that defined an era of practical filmmaking. What makes it unforgettable isn't just how strange it looks, but how real it feels. It existed, it moved, and it worked, something that can't always be said about modern digital creations. In the end, the Cyclops Bus proves that even the most absurd ideas can become iconic when they're built with ambition, precision, and just the right amount of madness.